Hi everyone, Sandra Vale here, Homesteading Ways, and today I wanted to talk to you about doing laundry. Now, laundry is never a fun chore to do, at least it's not for me, but it's even worse if your machine breaks down or your power goes out. And sometimes those things happen. So if your machine happens to go out on the weekend or some other time when you can't get a new one right away, or a storm rolls through and knocks your power out for a few days, or maybe you're even thinking about if you were to go off grid, how would you do your clothes if there was no power? Well, there's a couple different ways you can do that, and I'm here to show you a few of them. Okay, the first method I'm going to talk about is doing some of your clothing in the sink. Just get some water in here. If you can heat it up, that's even better. Whether your gas stove maybe still works or you heat water out on the grill, whatever. If you can get it to at least warm, that's good. Try not to use your normal laundry detergent simply because it suds a lot and you're going to have a harder time rinsing it, so you'd like less suds. If you can, ahead of time, pick up some of this Fels Naptha. Works great. It's one of my favorites. I use it in my own laundry soap, but I also use it as a stain stick. You can use Zote soap. That works really good too. A Castile soap. Ivory works good. And in fact, any bar soap's going to work pretty decent for your laundry, except Dove and bars of soap like Dove where there's a lot of lotion in them. So anyways, this is good for socks, underwear, t-shirt, even sweaters, smaller items. So one of the first things I would do is I'm going to use a couple pair of socks here. I'm just going to shove a pair in there, and I'm going to make like, you know, these are kind of dirty, and you want to maybe scrub them a little bit. So you just put your soap on there and get it going, rub it in pretty good. If it's a bad stain, then just, you know, mix it in there a little bit and then keep it up there and let it set for a while before you further wash it. Otherwise, you can just gently go over all the other items with a little bit of soap. You don't need a lot. And let them sit in there for a while. And if they're not really dirty, you can just rub them, you know, on themselves or together, you know, like that. I have a bottle brush that I can use for harder items. You wouldn't want to do that on a sweater or a fragile blouse or something. You can also use a nail brush. I happen to have one of those too. And a lot of the clothes that you hand wash are not going to be soft, and I don't recommend using fabric softener. What I do think you could do, though, which would work out okay, is putting some Epsom salt in your water. That will soften your water, and in turn, it'll help your clothes to be a little bit softer. Now, you don't need much in a sink full of maybe a sink full of water, maybe a quarter or a cup, and just, you know, mix it around a little bit, and it'll dissolve. And that'll help your clothes to be a little more softer. It'll help your soap work even better, too. So once you have everything cleaned up as well as you can, the next thing you're going to want to do is rinse it. Now, water may be at a premium, so I'm only going to do one rinse. Some people like more than that, but, you know, if this is a temporary situation, you don't have to be so picky. One other way you can get your water to rinse really well is to add a little bit of vinegar. Vinegar helps cut the soap or the detergent from your clothes. I'd say quarter cup. Now, I'm not using my sink because I don't have another plug, so I'm just going to use this bucket for now. And also, I wanted to mention that bar soap, especially like the Fels Naptha, it's designed not to suds up much, and it's super easy to rinse. So just squeeze out what you can and rinse it in here. Make sure this water's cold. Cold water also cuts suds really well. Okay, so once your item is completely rinsed out, just squeeze it out, get everything you can out of there. The next thing you're going to do is going to try and get a little more moisture out. And what I have here, this is just a dish drying pad, but you can use 2 dish towels or bath towels, whatever you like. And I'm just going to put it on there and push on it just a little bit, you know. And then if it's a smaller item like this little sock, just roll it up in there, squeeze as you do it, and that'll help get some of the extra moisture off. And then You can hang your laundry just about anywhere you want to. If you're doing shirts, hang them on hangers if you can, and hang them on your shower rod. Or you can drape rope or twine wherever you want, you know, your kitchen, your bathroom, living room. If you have clothespins, go ahead and hang them up on clothespins. Otherwise, like the shirts and that, you can hang right on the hangers and just space them out a little bit so there's some air circulation, and that way they'll dry, and if they're hanging like that, some of the wrinkles will also pull out of them. But this method doesn't work well for really heavy or big items, so I'm going to show you that method in a minute here. Okay, now we're in my bathroom, and as you can see, this is my bathtub. Now if you have bigger items to do, like my husband's jeans, he tends to wear the heavier denim, and he's a really tall guy, so his inseam is 36, and that can be kind of hard to wash in a kitchen sink, especially if you're going to do more than just one. And you know, I don't recommend doing heavy items if you can avoid it, especially things like big blankets or quilts. But if you don't own many of them and they're really dirty or somehow contaminated, someone's sick or whatever, then this is one of the ways I would recommend doing it. Now get your tub with some water in there, and you're going to have your soap. And then here I have a tote, and that's filled with the rinse water. You can use a bucket, a bigger bucket, or whatever you happen to have on hand to put your rinse water in. Now there's a couple of ways of doing this. You can come down here and grab it and just start working whatever stains you see, you know, with the soap. And again, I have, oops, my trusty bottle brush, because his work pants get pretty bad, so something like this, it's not going to bother at all. But if you do happen to have something a little more delicate, like say a blanket or whatever, here's a nail brush, and those are pretty soft. It shouldn't hurt too much, especially if you go lightly. And then here's something you probably don't see every day anymore. There you go, a washboard. I bought this some years ago, and I've only used it honestly a few times, but it really does work good. And if you happen to have one, or you buy one ahead of time, it does work really good if you have really dirty socks. It'll work great for that. So you just get, you know, your soap on there and scrub away on your washboard and really, you know, work it hard. So you can see it sudsing a little bit on there, but that'll really help you get stuff out. Now some people use the plunger method. That works really good in buckets, especially the 5-gallon buckets. You take an old plunger or a new one, a cheap one, and you put holes in it because that helps with agitation. Now, especially if you have maybe sheets in here or a blanket, that's a little more lightweight maybe, and you push it hard all over. You know, it helps to work in the soap on stuff that's maybe not too dirty, but you need a little something. Or if your hands are bad and you can't squeeze well enough, that's what you can do. And then once you get your clothes clean, your jeans or whatever it may be, this is the not so fun part of trying to squeeze this out. Trying to get as much of the water out as you can. You're just going to keep squeezing and squeezing, maybe roll it, push it on the side of your tub. Whatever it is you have to do to get it out. And that's again where it comes in handy to use the bar soap over laundry soap. And then you stick it in here and you rinse it real good. Again, that's cold water with a little vinegar thrown in. The harder part with stuff like this is getting it to dry. So once you pull it out of here and you rinse it out and squeeze it out as well as you can, what I do is I put a couple of bath towels on my kitchen table, and I'll put the jeans or the jacket or heavy sweatshirt, whatever it is, on the first towel, cover it with a second towel, push it down and just keep rolling it up. And then again, hang it up wherever you can. You may have to throw stuff, you know, over chairs. If you have a radiator in your house, that, you know, maybe you could throw it over the radiator. Whatever you need to do. But it can be done. So if you're without power or you're without a washing machine, you can still wash your clothes. I don't recommend doing a few loads, big loads of clothes like you would, you know, at a laundromat or something. But if you need a few things done and you don't have the time, or maybe it's just too far a distance for you to run, you know, for a day or two to go to a friend or neighbor's family's house, then go ahead and try these methods at home. I hope this helped you out. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I'm glad you took the time out to do it. Please comment and subscribe. That would be great. It was nice talking to you, and you take care.